Welcome back everyone to another episode of EastEnders Weekly, where we discuss the BBC soap EastEnders.
Officially, unofficially discussing the soap of EastEnders.
We're not getting paid, basically. Was that one?
Yeah, basically we're unpaid. We're lackeys. We just do it for the fun of it.
Yes, and I am joined by Alex this week. Hello.
Hello, and I am joined by Charlie the cat. Hello, Charlie.
Meow.
Lovely.
Yeah, there is a cat in here again. 2 weeks in a row now.
I know, he likes joining us for these conversations.
Yes. Though he does cause trouble and noise, but it's fine. And I am Ben, the host with the most
I
fans.
think, Charlie, you have got the most fans. As there was a comment this week from our favourite Ben Mitchell Twitter.
No, he's back
that,
again.
I'm not wanted. Just the camp one, which is Ben. So
We think.
I
It
think
changes
we know.
every week. So.
Does it? He found you, didn't he? He found you on a dating site, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. That wasn't me. No, I'm not on dating sites anymore, sadly. 9
wow.
years.
I'm sat here with our love child, which is a big black furry puff of nothing.
Oh well. My love child is in Wolford.
Is he?
Because it's EastEnders.
Of course.
And we are discussing the episodes that were broadcast between the 12th and the 16th of August. And before we go any further, we've got some celebrations to incur, which is our Bex passed her A-levels and thus ending Bex's revision storyline.
That's right. But not the end of Beck's I'm worried about everything that follows storyline.
She's still worried about things. But, you know, we're moving on.
We are moving on.
So that's most important this week.
We'll be talking about that anon, in fact, next. But it's quickly one thing we need to tidy up, and that is the results of Martin Fowler's 5 a day last week. Because I left it open for anyone to give us their answers to the rest of the answers. To Aunt Sal's appearances on EastEnders. And these were the 10 that we were hoping that you guys would know. So there was Grant and Tiffany's wedding in 1997.
Oh, that's an old one.
Jamie Mitchell's funeral in 2003. They're in chronological order, so that's the oldest you'll have. Sam Mitchell's wedding to Andy Hunter in 2004.
Really?
Phil Mitchell's wedding to Stella Crawford in 2007. The one when, was she pushed or did she jump?
Yes, ask Ben.
That's also the one when they had the balloons with Phil and Stella's face on them, and I always wanted one of them. Peggy and Archie's wedding in 2009. Ronnie and Jack's wedding. She was uninvited in 2011. Roxy and Alfie Moon's wedding in 2013. Sharon and Phil's wedding in 2014. She turned up on Peggy's request to ruin it.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Peggy's funeral in 2016. Ronnie and Jack Branning's 2017 wedding. And then Ronnie and Roxy's funeral the following month. Yeah, so there we go. There were all the instances Aunt Sal came onto the soap for a wedding or a funeral.
So her next appearance may be her own funeral, maybe.
She's quite elderly. I would like to see Aunt Sal back because she has a viper's
She can
tongue.
come around for Christmas for the Keanu reveal, just have one line.
Christmas or February 2020?
Oh yeah, well whenever it is. Whenever the reveal is, Aunt Sal needs to turn up for a meal.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. So yes, we've got the Bex storyline where everyone in the UK received their A-level grades this week, and EastEnders were in keeping with getting Bex's grades, and she got the grade she needed, but not the grade she wanted.
No, I think she wanted to fail.
Yes, she did.
She sat there clinging to her brown envelope, flirting with Mick. I mean, she's...
warning signs again, isn't there, Bex?
Yeah, I know, she's going through them, isn't she?
Gavin, we had Gavin, didn't we?
Her teacher, yes.
We had Kush in the shower.
Yeah.
There was a third one, but I can't remember at the moment.
Well, potentially Danny Dyer.
Yeah, now potentially Mick as our next subject.
Yeah, there's a bit
just like Auntie Michelle.
There's a bit of upset that technically Bex had cheated to get those grades because she used stimulants. She did. She used a stimulant in order to help
the Olympics.
Her. Exactly. If this was the Olympic Games,
Olympics of A-level.
Yeah. If this was the Wolford 10K and they drug tested her, she'd be eliminated.
Oh, yeah.
Medals thrown away, taken away.
They don't care in the 10K because Mitch cheated. No one cared about that. So no one cares about her A-level cheating.
Well, apparently not. Because...
didn't she go off them before the exam? Wasn't it just a revision she was using them for?
I guess, but at the same time, you could say that there was an enhancement leading up to it. Although it wasn't that much of an enhancement, I don't think, because she went a bit nut didn't she?
Probably didn't help her at all because she ran away and missed some education, really.
She missed an afternoon. She wasn't gone for long, was she, really?
a lot of makeup on her and backcombing. So
a lot of makeup that had run from her face. And Stuart's always there to the rescue. He was to the rescue this week as well, which we'll discuss a bit later. But yeah, so I can see the point that she did cheat, really, but at the same time,
I'll just give her a break.
Give Bex that one. No, I don't want to give Bex a break.
She's the last fouler. She needs something.
Well, she doesn't want to go to university because Sonia found on her laptop that she was looking at, university or just go straight into work. What's the best
that
solution?
Weird website.
Yeah, the very specialist website. You can find that on UCAS form. I
mean, even the BBC EastEnders tweeted Sonia's dreams come true. Bex got her results. So like, even the official Twitter account was saying this is Sonia's dream, not Bex's. So poor old Bex, she's got too much pressure. She's opening up to elder men and hoping for the best, like us all.
I mean, what is Bex's plan though if she doesn't go to Oxford? I mean, is she going to stay in Wolford and find a job? I mean, there's not really a lot of prospects.
She work on the
Wolford.
family store on the fruit market.
With the fruit veg store.
It's been in the family for years, since World War One.
But there's nothing there for her. There's nothing. There's even if she does decide not to take the educational route, really, there's nothing there.
She could do like uni online.
What, Open University?
For the next 4 years, her storyline will be her revising on a laptop.
Well, the BBC would like that as well because they are part of the Open University programme. So yeah, why not? That's it. Do an online course.
It's a bit tricky, isn't it, Bex? Like I don't mind her, and I kind of like her being there because she's like the last Fowler, apart from like Lily Fowler and Arthur, but they're babies, so they won't have a storyline for ages. But she's at that age, the same as Louise, where she's nearly into like adult storyline territory, but she's a bit too old for like teenage stories. So she's a bit in like a weird place, but I don't want her to go.
No,
because I feel they could do something with her, but they just need to grow her up a bit.
She's a bit like
adult storyline.
Yeah, a bit like what became of Whitney, I suppose. Like Whitney went from being a teenager, but then she had quite an adult storyline to kick her into the soap to start with when she was being groomed.
Because a lot of people give her slack for not being the best actress, but I don't think she's that bad. When she's given the material, she's all right. And we need a Fowler on the square, and so it's a tricky thing what you want to do with Bex, really. Like, could she go to uni and still stay in Wolford? Because Dottie's coming back and she's at uni.
I mean, I'd rather that they did that. I'd rather that they kept her at university, but maybe for her to draw it back a little bit and say, I don't really want to go to Oxford or Cambridge.
Yeah, I'll go to Wolford.
I'll go to Wolford University or whatever the alternative is nearer to home. But you don't even have to be specific, or if there is one near home. And so then she can stay at home because, otherwise there's only Sonia and Stuart rattling around in Dot's house.
Well, they've got to make room for Dottie, you see. Because if Dot's back and Stuart's Sonia, that only leaves one room. And that's Bex at the moment. So someone's going to have to leave that house. Maybe Stuart and Rainie get a drug den together or something.
Dot sleeps downstairs, doesn't she, in the dining room?
And there's 3 bedrooms upstairs.
Oh, right.
We're sticking to the rules here. It's not the Slater house.
I was about to say, did the Slater stick to the rules? No, and they even made a joke of it this week about it when Kush said to Kat about you fit 30 people in here last year.
I mean, maybe Dottie and Bex can share in Jay's weird flat share with Billy.
Oh, or share with Robbie. Robbie's handing out flyers to share flats.
I'm not talking about him yet. I refuse to put into more than we need.
It's interesting that they've given Robbie a storyline.
Is it?
Well, it is, because we were adamant that that was Robbie's big moment that week where he kidnapped his own child. No more for Robbie
yet, I'm afraid. Not ready. But it's like a problem of what to do with Bex. I suppose what they were aiming at is having Bex and Louise team up as the new Sharon and Michelle with a baby, and like Michelle was, but it's the swapped.
Oh, I see.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose that's what they could do.
I'm not that fussed about that, to be honest with you. I suppose Bex is a bit like Michelle because she's got a lot of potential, but she kind of feels drawn back to wanting to stay in Wolford. Family, yeah. I mean, that's such a strange juxtaposition, though, because when Bex was first introduced, she was adamant she wanted to get out of Wolford. She didn't want to stay. She was she was an emo, her hair was, and she didn't really want to be about. And now she's adamant that she wants to start work and doesn't want to go to university.
Wow.
To the point that she's sick in the toilet when she gets pushed by Sonia.
Even Bernie noticed.
I don't think she'd been drinking. It's just that Sonia's pressure is constant on her, that she's just had enough. She was telling Shrimpy, for heaven's sake, the grades that Bex had. Shrimpy didn't care.
I know.
Shrimpy
Martin don't care either.
Shrimpy was busy looking after 3 stalls at the
Someone
time.
who does care, though, is Kathy.
Kathy
She's
always
there.
cares. Kathy
Great
said hello to
Auntie
Martin on the phone. She's like, "Oh, about that."
Mentions Pauline as well, which we enjoy.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago we asked for something like that, and they plopped it in. So yeah, your nan would be proud.
Nice plop, Kathy. Well done.
Pauline would have sorted her out by now.
Well, Pauline is the Lou Bill, wasn't she?
Exactly.
She
She would
out
have
the
sorted
family.
out Bex.
In an angry tone, though.
She would have slapped out those pills out of her ass.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been pleasant about it. In fact, she would have blamed Sonia for everything. Well, it's Sonia that needs to be knocked down.
We're blaming Sonia. So...
I was going to say it's Sonia. So really, we needed Pauline to knock down Sonia a little bit. Pull it in, Sonia. Pull it in.
Yeah, live your own dreams and let Bex live her own.
Just because you're a nurse and not a doctor, and the first time you ever saw a doctor was 2 years ago, just pull it in.
Right, so next up we have the Carters, who have a storyline again. First time this year, it seems. They've been missing in action, haven't they, the Carters?
Well, they've had a well-due rest, to be fair, because they were so much on the show last year.
He got his 100th duff, Mick did this week, we were told on Wolford Webb.
Yes, thank you, Wolford Webb.
Yeah, 100 already.
It's mad, isn't it? But like I said, though, last year he must have got about half of those.
Yeah, 50, yeah. But, so we've got the Mick mental health storyline where we all thought it was a heart attack all week. But it wasn't a heart attack, it was a panic attack.
Yes.
And typical EastEnders nurses don't have the best bedside manner again.
Well, and also don't have the drugs or the medicine to give him, so they just hand him a brown paper bag.
You'll be all right, get out.
It's a brown paper bag, just breathe into that. That's my diagnosis, that's my prescription, now leave.
Yeah, because last week we had the news of Linda who phoned him and stopped him going to hospital because she was like, I had urgent news, have to get back.
Oh, and had normal smear.
Yeah.
So Mick feels like his problems is nothing in comparison to what Linda's problems is, and so he's keeping it all to himself. Yeah. No secrets, Ben. No more secrets.
No more secrets. I hate this trope that they use in soaps or all TV, where someone's got something wrong with them, but they don't say. It's so annoying because it never happens in real life. Or it might happen occasionally in real life. But the way he was pressuring Linda to not miss the hospital appointment because she can't be ill, and then he was doing exactly that. It was like, for God's sake, this is just story for story's sake.
Yeah,
this wouldn't happen in real life.
No, I know, and the fact that, as I jokingly just said, that the Mick and Linda are meant to be not keeping secrets from one another anymore over Ollie and about themselves and their own personal health and their personal issues. They're just keeping secrets from each other still, and it just kind of ruins any connection with them. I mean, there's only so long that surely they can just keep saying, "Oh, I forgive you for not telling you. Oh, I can forgive you." I mean, their relationship is probably one of the most strained on the square. And yet seems to survive it every time.
Yeah, I see them as two separate characters now. They don't seem to be together, but the actors want them to stay together, so it seems like the writers have kept them. But yeah, they just seem like, I was saying to you earlier, I don't even see Mick as a real character anymore. I just see him as Danny Dyer.
Yeah, it's really strange.
The show.
I mean, I
have no attachment to Mick or anything because of everything that's gone on.
He's really loved outside of the show, by the viewers. And again, the story wasn't a bad one. The fact that Stuart and his son and his wife and the running the pub that's not making enough money, and so it's all adding up, and it's a valid illness that would occur. But it's just the fact that he kept
not going to the hospital and not telling him. It's really.
But then when he did go to the hospital, as you said, they just dismissed him, and he felt embarrassed. He was sat on the bed looking all kind of like a child, like wah wah, and he just kind of felt really embarrassed that he'd wasted the NHS's time.
Because he's a man. Is that where they're going to go? He's not opening his feelings.
Yeah, I
think
so.
Maybe he's trying to look butcher in front of Mitch and not letting Stuart help and things.
But again, Mick had that storyline with Lee, when Lee had that mental illness storyline,
depression, yeah, and
he, and he said, you've got to crack open that nut, you've got to talk to me about these things, Lee, and it ultimately led to Lee leaving because he didn't open up. Again, an example which Mick should follow
from himself,
from his own family, and now he's not doing it because he needs, he feels like he's manning up and doesn't need to reveal any of this. I mean, it'd be good if he could maybe Stuart's endeavouring to become his best friend again, but obviously it looks like Mitch is going to be more of a friend for Mick.
I mean, you do understand that the Carters probably don't want Stuart around.
No, of course not, and I completely sympathise with that, and I would have hated it if after tonight's episode when Stuart helped Mick get to the hospital and it was like, oh, all's forgiven, don't you worry about it, let's be best friends
because I know they're on the redemption Stuart train hype at the moment, but you got to remember all the things he did do to the Carters, so that can't be forgotten.
And also, you say this redemption about Stuart, but there was also a scene this week with Stuart when he was defending Rainie, and you saw a bit of the old Stuart pop out in that moment.
Although I'm fully left that if he means getting
Yeah.
Max.
Oh no,
so-
completely.
Because Max is just being horrible as usual to both of them
Yeah.
for no reason. And then, Stuart said, you watch out, see how loose my screw is and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But Rainie liked it, got her on.
Well, it got her hot, didn't it? Yeah, she
Off
then
and on.
she was hot all under the collar and every place. So this relationship between him and Rainie is back on, I'm presuming.
Yeah, kind of official.
Yeah, it's official.
Stainy is the hashtag, everyone, apparently.
Lovely. I'm sure there'll be lots of stainies on those bed sheets. Just don't let Honey see them. They are going to be very, very destructive for one another. We've said this hundreds of times already on the podcast, and I do think that will possibly be the undoing of Stuart. And again, looking at the Mitch and Mick friendship, where Mick may open up with Mitch.
Think Stuart will get jealous of Mitch?
I do.
I hope so.
I do. So yes. So to be fair to Stuart, I was going to say, to be fair to Stuart and his anger issues, at least he's directing them at the right people.
Yeah, Max and Mitch.
Yeah, exactly. Eminem. So he's directing them in the right direction.
That's true.
And so we're happy.
I'm on the Stuart train then.
I was going to say,
all aboard.
Get on the Stuart train. One last thing about the Carters is that Linda talks to Jean this week as well, and she sees that Jean's recovery is going quite well. And
she's being positive.
Yeah.
So she's worried.
So I think Linda's picking up the same positivity about perhaps this smear test, the second smear test she's got to take. Perhaps isn't as bad. It's just, it's abnormal perhaps just because something got missing or something went a bit wrong. But Ollie's gone a bit quiet as well, so I'm a bit upset that they're not really talking about Ollie that often either.
Too much illness. A lot of illness.
I was about to say...
not illness because Ollie's not got an illness, but a lot of medical things going on in this place.
The Carters might need to do one of those ancestry tests and just find out if there's a history of all these illnesses that seem to just all be popping up at the moment.
It's Shirley's turn next.
Nah, Shirley's too busy.
Issues.
Yeah. Smoking issues and drinking.
Right, so we are going on to our feature next, which is another section of First Till Last. Right, so we are here with another episode of First Till Last, where we go through, pick a character, and talk about their time on the show from their first appearance all the way up to their last.
Yeah, the very first episode to the very final episode. And some episodes are quite impactful, and some episodes are a bit wet and not really worth discussing quite so much in detail.
So yes, the character we're doing this time is Carmel Jackson, who was on the show from 86 to 89, so way back in the beginning, in case people don't know who she is. She was a professional woman, health visitor of the community of Wolford, really.
She was. She had her roots in Wolford, and she was the good child of a set of two, because her brother was the one who was a bit wayward, and she wanted to show to her parents that she could go to university and get the qualifications, and she did that, got her health visitor qualification, and worked for the Wolford Council, and was first introduced only as a bit character to look after Michelle and her child, Mary and her child, and Sue Osmond as well, with little Ali Osmond.
3 very difficult cases.
Yes.
With covering a range of topics.
She was very much in demand, wasn't she? And she was always put onto by people, always constantly, if she would have a break or a lunch hour, she'd constantly have people asking her questions and asking if they can, have them visit. And, she was very much almost under everyone's thumb, really.
I think one of her character descriptions was one of the most patient women in Wolford, and that's kind of the case, because wherever she went, another caseload got put on top of her round every single corner. But she was quite a modern woman, because she came from quite a Christian family, and later on she had a storyline about an interracial relationship as well.
Yes, it went a bit sour, didn't it, with Matthew, a guy she met called Matthew. And in a funny way, it was a bit sad that they did that, because it was breaking walls that there was this interracial relationship, and she was telling her family that it's okay, because her family were the ones who were a bit against it. Her brother Darren was against her having a white boyfriend. They said that the culture...
Darren's kids were as well.
Yeah, well, I think Junior just didn't like him very much. But, they said that, with culture being very different, that, it won't last and it'll be an uphill struggle throughout. But she persevered. But then, unfortunately, not that they were right, but obviously the way that Matthew became was a bit tricksy, and unfortunately then a domestic violence storyline developed for her.
Which that's going quite into the end of her storyline.
Mm.
I mean, the beginning of the storyline, she actually dated Calvin.
Yeah, right at the beginning, she dated Calvin.
Which was really weird. Like,
well, it was a weird era, wasn't it? Right in 85, 86, when a lot of the kids you were 15s or
growing
just
up too fast.
growing up a bit too fast, and they seemed to be dating like early 20-year-olds. You know, Ian was doing it, and so was Sharon. Sharon was flirting with Lofty at the time.
Yeah, and Simon.
And Michelle obviously had the child with Dirty Den.
Yes.
Again at 15. So, you know, it was a weird time at the beginning of the show where they seemed to be okay with relationships happening in this
but
way.
her and Calvin just looked weird. It didn't look right.
Well,
ultimately, she was such like a professional woman.
Yeah.
And he was just in college.
But he was young. He wanted to have a good time, and ultimately, that's what kind of broke them up, wasn't it? Because she saw him as being a bit immature.
Well, they kept playing board games.
Well,
on nights out, and she was like, no.
Well, no, see, I think I would have thought she would have enjoyed that because they were quite intellectual board games as well. It was Trivial Pursuit, and this is something. It's Trivial Pursuit, isn't it? It's not Trivial Pursuits.
Oh, yeah.
They keep pluralising the game as well in the early episodes too. Anyway, little bugbear of mine. It was quite serious games they were playing for the ages that they were, 16, 17. But Carmel didn't like the parties that Calvin wanted to go to and wanted to hang out with all his friends.
Well, the crack dens, no.
But no.
Not her place.
No. Crack dens is what she's meant to be like getting rid of, not encouraging.
So after she broke up with Calvin and that ended, she sort of disappeared off screen because she wasn't ever a regular character. She was just like every now and then. And then they decided to bring her in full time. So they gave her a proper background and they gave her the family, which we mentioned, which was Darren and the boyfriend of Matthew.
Yes. So Darren was the first to be introduced, and he's, as I said, he was a bit wayward, would be a bit of a dodgy geezer, like would sell his own mother if it meant he got a profit from it. But he didn't have a very good relationship with his family either, and Carmel was really the only member of the family that he still had good contact with.
She always made excuses for him as well, which I thought was strange. Like she was almost blind to how awful he was. Well, like being such a professional woman that she was, you always thought her moral high ground was higher.
Yeah.
But really, when it came to her family, I suppose she
Well, she makes, as you said, she would make excuses for him, and he kind of dodged his way into living with her as well, because all she had was this one-bedroom flat. And then Darren somehow got his feet under the table and was able to live with her and his two kids as well, Aisha and Junior. Interesting little tidbit, actually. The little girl who plays Aisha is actually Judith Jacob, who obviously plays Carmel's daughter in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's why in the scenes when she would do something, sometimes the Aisha would shout out, "Mummy!" Not knowing, obviously, that she's not meant to be acting, that's her mum. But they kept them in just because they thought it made it a bit more that Carmel was her mum. Yeah, Carmel's more her mum than what Darren is her father. Yeah.
Take your daughter to work day.
Yeah, every day's to take your daughter to work day on EastEnders.
Yeah, she got lumps with the kids because Darren disappeared because the character, I'm assuming, got axed.
Well, yeah, strangely vanished, didn't he? I know this isn't about Darren, but he kind of...
It's their trait of their family, because she just disappeared too, and so did Junior.
Yes, right at the very end. So then she had obviously Matthew and Darren didn't get along, but Darren left, so then Matthew proposed marriage to Carmel.
Really weird wedding.
Well, Matthew, you've got the first insight of Matthew's past too, and Matthew, a bit similar to Darren really. It's a shame they didn't have a conversation. They could have seen a similarity with one another. Matthew had a past where he didn't get on with his mum and his father.
Yeah, and he was adopted as well, I think, wasn't he? Or it was
wasn't he adopted by his aunt?
Something like that.
Yeah, and so his aunt was the one who took care of him. Carmel ignored his request of not inviting his mum to the wedding. And then when he saw her turn up, this was the first time you saw a sign that there's something not quite right with her now husband, Matthew.
A great storyline, quite an important storyline, but whether it was handled the best, like looking back on it now, it's a bit like if that was happening today, it wouldn't be handled the same way. Well,
it was almost rushed, wasn't it? It was shoehorned in. I mean, again, Judith Jacob, who played Carmel Jackson, wanted to leave the soap. So I don't know whether she's given her intentions early on, and so they rushed that story through, or whether this had been the plan the whole time. But yeah, she didn't want to stay on the soap for much longer, and so then this, as you say, very rushed, quite poorly handled storyline where she's getting abused. But what makes it interesting though is that she's obviously a care worker, so she should see the signs, and she should be she should be the one who would know how to deal with it. But
she doesn't.
She doesn't.
No. She even says that to him, I think. She says, I've been trained in how to deal with these exact situations which I'm in, but I'm not being able to deal with them. So that is interesting how she wasn't able to adapt.
Yeah,
with it right in front of her.
Well, she had the leaflets with her as well, and the Dr. Samuels. Do you remember Dr. Samuels? He kept pouting.
Oh God!
Thought he was the new Sean Connery. He gave her leaflets about it, and again, this relationship that she had with Dr. Samuels was something that Matthew wasn't particularly happy about
jealous,
either.
Wasn't he?
Well, he thought that this was going to be the start of a relationship, that she was seeing the Doctor behind his back. But
it's very similar to Grey and Chatelle, like currently.
Kind of, but as you said, Carmel should have been known how to deal with it, like the training, and she even applied for a course later on, didn't she? And she says, "I'm going on a course. We can work through this together."
Then he has a go at her, saying, "You're trying to like make yourself better than me and stuff."
Yeah, so
it's
again,
very insecure.
Very insecure. And ultimately, eventually, I should say, after Junior stabs him for protecting Carmel as well.
Yeah, that's another like the way they resolved it. Like the answer to it was Junior stabbed him, and he was like in hospital, and then that was the end of him.
Well, he phoned her, didn't he? And she again forgave him, but then it was one last snap by Matthew, and she was like,
chucked him out.
That's the end of it. And then, as you say,
never did see his record store.
He sold all his records, didn't he, to Rod?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember he sold them all to Rod so Rod could sell them on? Then Rod disappeared. So goodness knows where those records are. They're probably on Shrimpy's stall right now.
Well, they turned into the African statues, and now someone else is selling them. So the money just keeps going round, Wolford. The same money.
It's its own eco climate, isn't it? It's got its own circulation of money.
But her exit was just non-existent. She just she was there 1 minute. Her father got taken ill off screen, and her mum wasn't coping. She was getting in trouble with her job because she'd been left with the 2 kids. And you sort of got an insight into her struggling, and then she just sort of disappeared.
Like, there was no goodbye or anything.
And characters for weeks on after kept saying, "Oh yeah, Carmel, she's just with her mum. She'll be back in a few weeks, or she'll be back soon." But then it just pittered out. I
mean, she was struggling with her job as well, so you got the kind of impression that she had just decided to give up her job.
Yeah, before she got fired.
Well, she was fired, was she?
Well, she was. I think she was.
She was given a letter, wasn't she? And she was given a warning, and then she took time off about a week later for her because her father died.
Yes.
And she was trying to get in touch with Darren then, but wasn't able to. And then, as you said, she left the square. So I think, but then that's another strange thing because for Carmel, her job was everything. Like we said that people were very, pushy toward her and wanting, to tear bits from her, getting information and wanting them to get help from her. But Carmel, to her credit and also to her detriment, was very willing to accept and allow people to do that to her because she loved her job and she wanted to help the community.
That's what I really liked about her character to begin with. When they showed her like working in the office a few times with Dr. Legg and a few other people, and they showed like the professional side of her, and you don't really see that in EastEnders like ever. Like even now you still don't. So that was really nice to see that there was a successful, busy woman, a
woman of colour as well, which was, which again not seen a lot of on television. That you saw this very strong, independent woman who had a good job and was able to balance all these different plates, but also had a career in mind. And then they kind of whittled her away bit by bit. Yeah. And in the end, she left as almost a weak kitten, which was a bit shame.
Maybe it's a shame that she wanted to leave, though. I think she could have. She had quite a bit more left in her character, I think.
Maybe they could come back, her and Calvin.
No, he's a bit older.
Yeah, or Aisha and Junior. That sounds like a sitcom, doesn't it? They could do a spin-off of an EastEnders. Aisha and Junior. Coming soon to BBC One.
Yeah, so it was a bit of like it was just a thing of that era. Everyone's exits seem to be a bit nothing. They just disappear. So it is a shame. So maybe she could come back for one last
hurrah
case.
Yeah.
Case study on Vicky. Maybe Vicky can come back pregnant.
She could come back for Grey and Chantel's case study. Maybe to come to protect the children.
She could be a support worker for Chatelle.
Yes.
That'd be good.
That'd be a very good story.
There you go. We'll hope. But until then, that was her last episode where she just got in a car and drove off like midway through an episode. So that was her last.
Junior came back once or twice, but they were pretty much forgotten after that.
Shame.
Real shame. Good character though. Real good character. And more than happy to see Carmel back.
There you go. So that was your case study. We'll call it that, shall we? Since we're professional women today. On Carmel Jackson's First Till Last. Right, so we are on to Bobby Beale. getting all storylines, making friends with all the gay characters on the square.
Yeah, he is. He always seems a bit afraid of them, though.
He's afraid of everyone.
Ooh, yeah.
He's like a rabbit in headlights.
He really is.
But yeah, do you remember Ian Bill had that Ghosts of Your Past special for when Kathy appeared and Lucy appeared and Pat appeared?
I remember we did a special episode. It was an extra where we talked about that episode when he does the Ghost in the Past. I think it was the charity crossover special episode, wasn't it? Perhaps someone should go and look it up and download it.
Well, anyway, don't need to listen to that now because Bobby's done his own.
He has. He's seeing ghosts.
Yeah. I love a good ghost on EastEnders.
I do.
It's been too long.
Who's your favourite ghost? I'm going to quickly
There's only
answer.
two.
Pat.
Pat or Lucy.
Yeah, Pat's my favourite ghost.
Obviously.
Well, no, technically, if we're going to the episode when they children in need, there was lots of ghosts. There was Cindy.
Oh yeah, Kathy's my favourite.
And Kathy was a ghost because she was still dead at that point.
Kathy's my favourite ghost, followed by Pat. But yeah, it wasn't.
Maybe she's still a ghost. I think we've talked about this before.
No.
That the whole premise is that Kathy was actually a ghost and only people in Wolf could see her.
I'd like that. So Bobby went to Eid this week, joined by the Ahmeds.
Yes.
He was invited with open arms.
Yeah, by Iqra. She was inviting them over, and then Marium was very welcoming too, and very happy to see him there.
The only one who's not welcoming is Ian.
Well,
surprise.
But Ian has kind of put the hatchet in his own back because he's made like 2 jokes about not being able to eat bacon, which was like hilarious. And
because Bobby didn't turn up for a chat. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to make bacon sandwich then."
Yeah, since Bobby's not here, I'm going to have bacon.
And Kathy rolled her eyes. Thank God.
We all rolled our eyes. We were with Kathy on that one. There was one big around the nation. You could just hear it.
It's like, come on, Ian. Stephen's dead. Lucy's dead.
Yeah.
You're running out now.
Trying to make some attachments to
on
people.
Drugs in Australia, whatever's happening to him, we don't know. So, be nice to Bobby, but it's just no.
Well, or just have another child somehow. Make someone else pregnant, and then you can start all over again. Like Phil.
That's what he's trying to do with baby Abby, I guess.
Yes, that will be happening soon, I think. Because I was talking to someone actually on Twitter that they still haven't shown from the summer trailer the scene when Ian says, I'm going to get paternity of...
Oh, well, yeah, he
Abby.
says something like, we're going to get her.
Or we're going to get her, yeah. So they still haven't shown that scene yet. No.
Or the Callum scene with Ben in a car.
Shh, wink.
Excuse me?
I don't know.
Is that what happens in the trailer, or are you just winking?
I'm just emojiing you.
Oh.
Just sticking an emoji on your face.
Yeah, I'm continued to be amazed by the new casting of Bobby. Very good.
Really good.
He had a monologue as well, which isn't easy to do at the end of the week.
Well, it's not easy to do in front of a studio of people doing this one long piece of dialogue, and it must be so tense to have to keep. And just the way it was portrayed was awesome. Is that you could really feel the emotion inside of him, where he was talking to this Lucy that he could see in the room in the exact same spot where he'd obviously she found her demise and knocked her on the head. Yes,
a bit like a Stacey and a Phil, but more lasting. But they were hinting at it earlier in the week because Bobby got upset when Ian was talking to him, and he started like, you heard things in his head.
You could hear conversations
and something going on.
Yeah. I think it was from the night. I think you heard the kind of rumblings of that night. Again, the music, because there was music playing, if you remember rightly, and there was all kind of ruminating in his head. And yeah, they did that shot that you very rarely see on EastEnders, where they kind of did a special effects shot where they had the camera kind of zooming in and him zooming out, and it was good.
Obviously, his dad was being awful to him. Nanny Kathy was being nice.
I mean, Ian was trying to put the olive branch out.
Yeah, but he's not very good at it.
No, he did it. He did it in kind of a, well, come over and I'll make your favourite dinner.
Bacon sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of expected that, didn't you? You kind of expected Ian to be really stupid and be like, oh, here's some pork sausages. Here's, and it'd just be, you can just imagine that really for Bobby. I did feel for Bobby. It was like, is there really any point? Because I'm really not going to get through to my dad.
And then, to top that off as well, if you haven't got Ian, you've got Max bloody looking over your shoulder, which is like the weirdest thing in the world. Like Max and Bobby working together in a restaurant. Like, could you imagine, like when this was all revealed, like 2 years ago, that 2 years later we'd be saying, they're working together in a restaurant. It's like, what? How has this happened?
Yeah, and in somewhat of a harmony as well, because after Bobby's kind of swipe at Max saying, did you ever love Lucy?
Well, you killed her.
Yeah, and then obviously Max can't take an insult without, throwing an insult back.
To a child, basically.
Yeah, typical Max.
Yeah, I just hate him, Max.
He likes destroying children's lives.
Bobby should have been like, well, what about Abby?
Max? I know.
He could have just kept flinging insults, and then Max could say, well, what about Jane?
Yeah.
And then he'll say, well, what about Stephen?
It would have been endless. An endless loop between them two.
They kind of got on, like kind of in the end. They saw eye to eye, and he had a little chat about Lucy and how he maybe shouldn't have dated her because she was really young.
But again, Max shelled, yeah, which was fair enough.
Still
Max,
not accepting fully that he'd done wrong, Max.
well, exactly, because he shelled up again. Because when Bobby said, you know, do you still think about Lucy? And he just said, your shift's over now. Kind of just like, oh, a nice one, Max.
Yeah.
It was like, again, Max is so unhelpful. It's like, because this could be quite cathartic for Max as well, really. This could be
the therapy session.
Yeah, this could be the one tick in Max's box of, you know what, I'm actually recovered from this one. You know, my daughter being killed by me killing another one of Ian's sons, you know.
Yeah. Or he could have shared like his self-harm like related to it, or what Bobby did to him or something.
Talk to him man to man. If he wants to insult him like a man, then talk to him kindly like a man too.
So I think Bobby wants Max to say, you know, this is what you did to me, Bob, because of your lie or your family's lie. I was in prison, I'm now like something like that, like they could maybe relate on some sort of level. But no, Max, he'd rather just shout one line and walk off.
Yeah, he pulled rank on Bobby as well. He's like, where'd you get off? I'm your manager. It's like, for God's sake, Max. Do you know, every episode I just need one of those buttons where you just have like the sayings, and one of them should be, for God's sake, Max.
Or Max Branning is trash. Max Branning is trash. But yeah, we had the monologue where he sort of was speaking to himself and speaking to Lucy, and Bobby was kind of saying that he never really wanted to come home, and he tried everything not to come home.
Yeah,
but he is home.
I mean,
no hockey stick.
No hockey.
No jewelry box.
There's still no school either.
There's summer holidays, isn't it?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm being a fool.
God,
I'm being a fool.
Getting GCSEs.
I mean, he's got to start doing some home studying at some point.
No,
he does.
Busy.
But he's working at the restaurant, which is kind of admirable for Bobby. To be fair, he's trying to put his mind to things. So, but again, it's not working, is it? So he's trying his hardest. I think he's going to end up going to, because Callum gave him some advice. You know, remember the past, but embrace it, and then move on and do better.
Yeah, Callum.
Yeah, well, that's what Callum said he's now doing by being acting straight. But Bobby, I think Bobby just needs a helping hand, and I wish he would just take the advice from Arshad and just go there and talk to them.
Because they did say come over any time and talk to us.
Yeah, and she said, we mean it as well. We mean it. And it's like, go on, go over there.
Although Bobby did hang up on Nan, so that's not acceptable.
Yes, well, never hang up on Kathy. If Kathy's ringing you, she's got something important to tell you. Even if it's just your dinner's ready, that's probably the most important 4 words of your day.
But yeah, we got to see Lucy. It wasn't the actual actress. Like there was a moment when I thought, is it going to be her? But they kept her like blurred in the background, so I'm sure it wasn't her. Yeah. But that would have been interesting. Like maybe if he was going to continue seeing Lucy, maybe have the actress, but maybe she's busy. She's doing like bikini photos, isn't she?
Is she?
She's on holiday a lot.
I mean, you seem to be keeping quite a track on the actress who played Lucy.
I keep track on all the actors.
I know, you're some kind of like celebrity stalker. You're like Avid Marium from Bo Selector. That's a reference and a half. Anyone who gets that, give me a thumbs up.
No. But yeah, quite interesting. We saw an actual figure, like who he was talking to. So good for EastEnders. Something a bit new.
Oh, absolutely.
And she was wearing her grey suit, which she'll forever be remembered for now.
Oh, that grey suit. She wore it all the time. I'm sure she just had a cupboard of these same grey suits. She just wore that same grey suit every day.
Similar
day
to
in,
the
day
grey
out.
suit that Pauline wears, actually.
Pauline?
Yeah, when she wears her smart suit, she wears the grey suit with like that little bow tie thing, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, the kind of cravat thing.
Yeah.
The white cream. Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
She's stolen the look from Pauline.
You stole my look. She'll be in Heat magazine soon.
Well, they're both in heaven now, so...
Maybe they have conversations. Yeah, maybe they compare wardrobes up there.
Right, so we move on to talk about the Ahmed's side of Eid rather than Bobby's side, because they were also at the meal. I mean, you know, this Ahmed meal gave a Mitchell meal for its money, I thought.
Well, it made us all
Lots of awkwardness.
Yeah, it made us all want to rewatch that Mitchell Easter Day meal again, and we did.
We did. That was amazing.
I mean, it was just... I said to you, like, of a really bad... time that EastEnders were in at the time, that was such a shining moment.
Little gem.
It really was a nice, neat little gem.
Sharon getting progressively more drunk and sweaty. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Ahmeds, because their meal, I thought, you know, these Ahmed characters, pretty much all newish characters. But yeah, there was lots of things going on, lots of looks over the table, lots of storylines crossing.
Yeah, it really was a combination of lots of different stories.
Maybe it's just Honey. Every meal she goes to ends up like an awkward thing that she just sits and watches.
Well, I have to say, Honey, or the actress,
Emma.
I loved her. Actually, I loved her this week.
Yeah, she's very good.
There was a new side to Honey.
She was like a real person, not like a cartoon.
Well, just someone that Billy chases. Instead of being like the Jerry of Billy's Tom, she was just more.
Did you say Jerry before Tom? You should say Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, but she's Jerry. She's the mouse.
Oh right. Yeah, you can't say it that way around. It's like.
Sorry,
chips
to Billy's
fish.
Tom and her chips and fish. Chips and fish. But anyway, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
There was something more interesting and more intriguing about Honey. That the fact that her vulnerability was there, but she was strong enough to fight for her relationship with Adam.
And there were all those hints, like she knows about Habiba and Adam, but like she's willing. She thinks it's kind of over between them, and she almost walked in on Iqra and Adam having that like food fight thing. She kind of got hints about what was going on, and she did Habiba's makeup, and they had like that chat about letting things go and don't worry about things. And
you've got to move on.
And she said that thing about why are you so good at makeup to Honey, and she said, it's because I have to. It's my armor. It makes me strong. And like they could have quite easily just not added that for Honey. Like they could have just said, I used to be a model, because that's what I thought she was going to say to Habiba. Because a few times Habiba's been like, I'm prettier than you, you're frumpy. So I thought they were going to be like, I used to be pretty and sexy, but they didn't go there. They went on much more of a deeper route for Honey. Rounded her off a lot more.
It made her interesting, and it made her not, because everyone thinks Honey's a bit daft, a bit silly, a bit dumb, but really she's not. She sees the world in a different way, and she's almost had this strike of reality. She's only been hit by this relationship that she's got with Adam.
Like the world's not all colourful and bright.
Exactly, and now she's having to...
No, she's killing him on holiday.
Maybe. No, she's having to change the way that she has to be in order to keep Adam. But is she wrong to try to fight for Adam this way? Because she's then warned later in the week by Iqra that you don't know Adam.
Like I do.
And so that was a warning. That was a true, not a threat, just a warning to Honey.
Yeah, and also Iqra hasn't got Adam hasn't got that thing on her anymore, because he threatened her with that, and she went, okay, fine, I'll tell them. And Habiba had her back, and Habiba's also ended it with Adam.
Yes. Which I think
called him little man, which he did not like.
Yeah, well, because he called her little girl, yeah. So Habiba's much stronger than she thought, and I think again Habiba and Iqra have realised that they're stronger as a unit than they are apart. So when Habiba had wandered off, she was much weaker, but with Iqra's help. So it's nice because when Iqra's secret came out that she's in a relationship, and she's been in a relationship for a year, Iqra felt compelled to tell Habiba immediately that it's a relationship with another woman.
I really liked how they did Iqra's not really coming out, because she was kind of out, just not to her family. But she was so almost blasé about it, and I really liked that. It wasn't like a big built up secret. It was like, I've got a lesbian partner, we've been together for a year. Habiba was like, okay, cool, that's great. And it's like, okay. I mean, she's just normal.
She still feels like she needs to shield Marium and Arshad with that news.
Yeah.
Because they're constantly...
She's still quite confident in her sexuality, whereas obviously they had the parallel of Callum at the same time, didn't they, where he obviously really isn't. So I like that.
It's interesting to see the kind of coming out stories with two sides to it. There's the very, as you say, confident with Iqra, and there's the very closeted with Callum. So it's nice that they're kind of taking branching paths there. I mean, do you think Callum and Iqra are going to end up having a conversation at any point about it?
No, I don't think they will. I don't.
Okay, fair enough. You guys.
I mean, Whitney and Iqra haven't made friends, have they? No.
No, I mean they've not really made much contact with one another.
Maybe Tina and Callum.
I don't think Tina would suit it though. I think because Iqra's quite fresh and of a similar age to Callum, so it makes sense if they were the ones to talk about it.
Iqra and Bobby, and then Bobby transfers to Callum, because Callum and Bobby had that scene, and Iqra and Bobby are friends, so maybe it's going to be a drop down.
Yeah,
don't know.
I'd be interested to the listeners out there. What do you think? Do you think that Callum and Iqra might have this conversation? Get in touch with us on EastEndersWeekly@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
But we also had Marium and Arshad, who said to Iqra, invite your boyfriend over, or invite him round because we want to meet him. And that's when she thought, I need to sort of get out of here.
Well, coincidentally, Robbie's looking for a new flatmate. for the reasons we'll talk about in the next part after the game.
Oh, great.
However,
Everyone turn off.
no, we're talking about Robbie now, so don't turn off.
No.
So Robbie's looking for a new flatmate. He's handing out flyers.
Even though it's not his flat.
Yeah,
Kush did say that.
It's a sublet. So yeah, Kush is letting it from her mum, who's already renting it. So yes, it's a sublet. And Robbie is basically being really creepy about it. Wants a girl to share the flat with him, but not a girl who's in a relationship, and thinks he's hit gold with Iqra because he's still not quite in the...
No. You know who they should have got back for the flat one? The one who was there last year was Jay, the prostitute. What was her name? Jessie Lee or whatever her name was.
But whatever happened to her? Because I was adamant that was going to be a story.
She's got a single out now on Spotify.
Oh, listen out.
Tara Lee. I think the actress, I can't remember what the character's called, but yeah, the actress Tara Lee. But yeah,
she
was
stole
that
a
blonde
chair.
one, and she had like dungarees or whatever.
Yeah. Her and Jay were like really
together,
into each other.
And then Billy broke them up.
Yeah, because he found out that she was
prostitute.
But
she loved it.
But it felt like that was meant to go somewhere, and it never did. Do you not feel the same way?
2017. There was loads of weird characters in 2017.
Sad times.
Like the two people who had that baby kidnapped, like storyline for a week.
Yeah. That was.
And the one who got
Max
like
and Rainie.
who gave birth in the Vic, like Tina's daughter's friend.
Oh yeah. I think they were almost like throwing ideas at the wall and just hoping that something would
just fill a week.
Yeah,
before I get fired.
Yeah. Oh, and Magic Marv.
No.
He was there for a week. But again, Magic, they did it in such a way that he was there for a week, and you almost expected him to come back at some
because
point.
Tina got a tattoo with him.
Yeah.
Where's that tattoo? I haven't seen that in a while. The big green fairy, or whatever it was.
It's probably been removed, inverted commas.
But it would have been nice if she turned up to rent Robbie's room and was like, oh, actually, no.
Yeah.
Second chance, no. But,
No, I like Iqra's moving out because it means Iqra can have this independence
she's going to spend time with Robbie.
Oh, I don't.
Just when Iqra's getting good.
Yeah, but I don't think Iqra's going to have any storylines with Robbie. I think it's just a vessel for them both to be in.
He'll try and come on to her and she'll be like, no, I'm
that'll be the story.
Or he'll walk in and they'll be kissing on the couch and he'll just stand with his mouth open.
Oh, yeah.
That's what will happen.
That is exactly what's going to happen.
Best flatmate ever.
You never believe it, Kush, but I'm living in a house with two girls. Robbie is tactile as attack.
But what I was just going to say, quick point about Marium and Arshad, how she's worried about coming out to them. It's like they're carers, aren't they? They've adopted like over 50 children in their time. And like, do you not think they would have like had adopted LGBT kids in the past? Because they're like one of the highest percentage of people who are getting chucked out and needing foster care.
But how long do they? And also, how young are the kids that they look after? If they only
they're all
look
different
after...
ages because there's photos of them on the wall, isn't there?
Are they? But even to
look at Adam, he's old.
Yeah, but he's old now.
Well, yeah,
but when they were looking after him, he might have been quite.
Yeah, so they would have kept in touch with all these kids if they kept in touch with Adam. But they must have had this not be an issue to them, or is it different because it's family?
Well, I mean, it's different to Iqra maybe because it's a direct relative, isn't it? So it is a bit.
Do you think Marium and Arshad will care?
I don't.
You don't.
I think it'll be a surprise. I think it'll be a shock to them, but I don't think it will be something.
Like accepting. Do you think?
I think they. Yeah, I do. I think they'll accept it straight away. I don't think that, and also I don't think it needs to be a story where it's unaccepted by them. I think they could still do it that within the community it's not so acceptable. But I think Marium and Arshad seem. I think it would be a surprise, but I don't think it would be something that would
maybe Arshad might like say something like for the first week and then.
No, see, funny enough, I think Arshad would be the one who would be most accepting.
Do you think?
Yep, I think Arshad would be the more accepting than Marium. But I think they will both be accepting ultimately at the end. Exciting times ahead.
Right, so we're going to go play a quick game now, and then we'll be back with some Callum Highway. So that's everyone's favourite. Now, you may be wondering why you're in a darkened room with a spotlight on you.
No, I'm a bit scared actually.
Yeah, good. That's what I want.
Oh wow. Well, what's going on? Tell me.
Well, we are playing a classic game of Jack Branning's Witness Protection. So if they've got any new listeners listening who may not have known about this game from our backlog.
We haven't played it for a long time.
No, it's been a long time since a crime's been committed.
Ben takes it a little bit too since the crime's been committed. Ben takes it a bit too seriously, hence why, if you could see right now, there's a light shone right into my face.
And I have a pipe.
Like
a detective.
A pipe? What, you mean a pipe to smoke from?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a lead pipe, like in Cluedo.
No.
Oh, okay.
This game is basically Guess Who, but with a twist of EastEnders. So I have witnessed a crime. Someone on the square has committed a crime. And Jack Branning has brought me in to be questioned by you. And I can only answer yes or no questions. And you have to guess who it was I saw commit a crime on the square.
Yes.
And you only have 60 seconds.
And my success rate is not very good.
No. So, like always, I have a witness statement for you to listen to, and then you can begin questioning me.
Okay, come on then.
So, I was taking my dog Rolly the 8th for a walk around Albert Square Gardens when I saw someone not put plastic in a recycling bin. Of course, we know that there is now law in Walford you must recycle.
Enforced by one
Bailey, yes. So, as you know, I'm not one to gossip, but if you could guess who I saw committing this crime, I'll just have to tell you who it was.
Okay.
Okay, so yes and no questions, and I will answer. And you can ask me anything.
Can I? That's a dangerous game to play.
Right, so are you ready? So 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, was this person female?
No.
Does this person work in a nightclub?
No.
Does this person have a specialist occupation like a doctor or a dentist?
Yes.
Is this person dating someone who has 2 children of their own?
Yes.
Is this person also having an affair behind this person's back?
Yes.
I'm ready to guess, Ben. I can't believe how well I
Keep
passed
going
it.
because you're going to run out of time.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Well, is this person Adam the dentist?
I need a full name for...
Adam
Oh
Bateman?
dear, 15 seconds. Oh yes, Adam Bateman. No, that's incorrect.
Oh,
No, I'm
this
joking.
Oh,
It is
okay.
Adam Bateman.
Hang on, I've still got time. I can ask you more questions. What do you like to do at the weekend, Ben? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot it's yes or no only. I'm not,
2 seconds.
No, I've got nothing
No,
more.
that's the end. There you go. Yes, it was Adam Bateman who I saw wasn't
I'm
recycling.
surprised he wasn't recycling. Do you reckon he keeps up the hygiene of his dentist surgery well as well?
Used gloves, probably.
That's what I mean. Do you think he puts his finger in someone's mouth, gets someone else in, and uses the same glove to put his finger in?
Habiba and honey, one after the other.
What? Is that not foreplay? Stick dentist utensils into their mouth.
Well, he uses the same bed sheets between Habiba and honey, doesn't he?
Which Honey
So-
chose.
Mm.
I mean, you can't wash them though. Every time he's done a bit of fumbling around under the sheets, that's just disgraceful. That's also bad recycling because you're wasting water.
It's not good.
And
So,
that's dark water. That's
there you go. Adam Bateman's been caught then by Jack Branning.
Good. What's Jack Branning going to do to him?
Make him recycle, obviously.
Well, and keep up a good practice at his
Nah,
dentist.
just recycle.
Wow. I don't want to go to his dentist anymore. Poor Janet. He's prodded around Janet's mouth.
Yeah, he's been in everyone's mouth. Well, there you go. That was a quick game of Jack Branning's witness protection. Right, we've got no time to waste because we had some further developments for Callum's character.
I know. Oh my goodness, my heart at the beginning of the week. I just wanted to jump into the screen and hug Callum.
Well, yes.
Callum.
I know, bless him.
His
All these
pain.
things he's been going through, not telling anyone, all these 2
Yeah.
years.
He didn't even have Ben to talk to. Ben was hidden.
He wasn't there, was he, this
Nowhere
week?
about. When I heard about the story, I was sure that there would be, and I think I said it last week, there would be a Ben and Callum scene where Ben would comfort Callum, the same way that Callum kind of comforted Ben about the whole Paul's death and so
I know,
on.
he's struggling on his own.
Yeah, he really
Well,
is.
Whitney's there, but not really much help.
But to be fair to Whitney, she can't really be much help
No.
because he's not telling her like, oh, I was gay in the army.
Although her advice is, at least you have got no funerals today.
Yeah,
Good advice.
Good advice, Whitney. Well done. I would say, just to return to Whitney, well, at least you had no sales today, so you could go to the pub and get drunk all night. Because really, that's all she did.
But we got introduced to a new sort of character who's like not really a character, but she turned out to be Chris's sister.
But so Chris is a guy who used to be in the same
Army
unit,
with.
the same army, same unit
Oh, I don't know.
as Callum, and Chris used to go on and on and on about some guy called H. And it didn't take really a great mind to work out
His
H,
alias.
Which H stood for H from Steps. Sorry, no, halfway. And so Vicky, his sister, Chris's sister, told.
She was really sweet. She was as well because she knew it was Callum.
Yeah.
But like she wouldn't say just in case he didn't want to say. But I thought she was such a lovely character. And a few people online have said she was great and lovely, and a few people said she was wooden and ruined some of the scenes. And I was like, I just didn't see it. I thought she was such a nice character. She was just sweet, and like everything that she needed to say to him, she said to him.
It was very simplistic the way she just gently held his hand
and didn't push
and
him
understood.
into anything.
Yeah.
Just be very gentle with Callum. We've worked out recently.
You really do. You have to not tread on eggshells, but just do it with kid gloves and just be understanding and say the right words to Callum. Smooth his head gently.
Get his hat, put some googly eyes on it, and like make it a puppet and like play it out that way to him.
Yeah, make a game out of his hat, for instance. Say that he's like gone somewhere missing, and you need to work out where he's gone. That's the best way of getting around Callum.
True, but yeah, lovely scenes. And he went to the funeral in the end. He decided to go. And he was like holding the hat, because the hat that Tiff wore like a few months ago.
Well, this is the beret, isn't it? This is the beret, which was.
And he got angry that she was wearing it, and no one really knew what that was about.
Well, yeah. So there was signs there, wasn't there, that Callum had this hat that wasn't his, and you didn't really understand why. And yeah,
his hat,
but it's not his official hat, not his woolly hat.
Chris's hat.
Chris's
so that could
hat.
be a sequel game.
What game? I don't know what you're talking about, Ben.
Chris's Christmas hat is what it would be called at Christmas. But so that had his name like embroidered and he was holding it, and he decided to go to the funeral because you don't really know if it was like a past boyfriend, but like they were like lovers in the army, or they were friends in the kitchen, or he didn't really say, did he? But
no, I don't think it was a sexual relationship. I really don't. I think it was more of
unless you're reading fan fiction now, which people will be writing up.
Well, send them in. We can read them out on the show.
Yeah,
I don't think it was sexual. I think it was just a mutual relationship. But
they
to
were
Chris,
both not out and in the army. Well, maybe he was out, or just to his
I don't
sister.
think Chris was out in the army, but I think once he left the army, he was out. And so then this is when it found out by Vicky, his sister, that they, he loved Callum ultimately. Sorry.
Not Callum.
No.
Yeah, very sweet. And he had loads of letters as well, which the sister had read. Very nosy.
I think he wrote them to his sister to tell.
Oh, not to Callum.
No, these were letters that he wrote from the army. About H.
Oh, about H.
Yes.
Oh.
That he then shared with Callum.
It's a love tale of the ages, isn't it?
I mean, again, it's a bit like the Sharon's DNA tests, isn't it? It's like Callum's not really putting them anywhere where they cannot be found
like
by
under
Whitney.
a blanket on her side of the bed, probably.
Oh, the whole bed is Whitney's bed, isn't it? I think Callum just sleeps on the floor. Whitney's
bed.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think that's something that's going to be found near the wedding. Maybe we don't know.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, I quite like to like hear him read them like in his head. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a voiceover while you're like looking at him.
Oh no, nothing as techy as that. I'd like to have seen him reading them, and you see over the shoulder.
Yeah, or whatever.
Some of the words.
But I would have liked to have seen what was written in some of them. But I mean, if they are that sweet, do you think Whitney will read them and be like, "Oh, that's quite sweet"?
Well, knowing Whitney, she'll think that they're love letters from an ex-girlfriend or something.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
Who's Chrissy?
Yeah, who's Christine?
Is she blonde?
I mean, because Whitney got the
She's prettier than me. I'm gonna eat some peanut butter.
I mean, Whitney got the wrong end of the stick at the beginning of the week because she saw Callum hugging Vicky.
Someone outside of a funeral parlour.
Yeah, to thank her for like letting him sharing the news. And instantly, what's Whitney's thought? Oh, he's having an affair.
I'm gonna eat some peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah, peanut butter will solve all my problems.
But he keeps telling Whitney he loves her, and he told Vicky as well, like, "Oh, I'm getting married to a woman and I love her."
Vicky looked really disappointed when he said that as well.
Well, she was kind of like a knowing nod, like, "Sure you are."
But it was almost like, as I say, disappointment, and it was before he even came out to her as well, or before he even said, "Oh, you know what, I'm H, I'm halfway." So yeah, as you said, Vicky was in the know. She's only been there 5 minutes, and she was in the loop straight away. She knew exactly what was going on.
Maybe she'll turn up to the wedding. And
I was going to ask, do you think Vicky will be invited to the wedding?
Which one? The Ben wedding or the Whitney wedding?
The Whitney wedding. Let's start from the beginning and move our way on.
No, there's Bianca there. She's going to be taking up a lot of the
voice, a lot of the noise,
a lot of the credit. But I can't wait for the wedding, and there's been like no spoilers about it.
Well, on the BBC iPlayer website, someone said that all the episodes have been listed up until the end of the month, and they've been given a short description, apart from the Whitney and Callum's wedding episode. Yeah. It's got nothing. No. It's just blank. It's just got a date.
It's going to be good.
They're really keeping it under their hats what they're up to.
Because someone tweeted, I think someone tweeted to us, or Facebook or something. You can join our Facebook group, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I'm doing it this time.
Oh, go on then.
Oh, what do I say? I was just saying that. Just join our Facebook group.
If you type in EastEnders Weekly Podcast, then click to join.
But someone somewhere said maybe she'll find the letters and she'll read them out as her vows, like to him.
Oh, what, spitefully?
Yeah. Because like they kept doing that thing about the vows, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they made a real point. Well, she made a real point of it.
Maybe there'll be
week.
something in there that she'll read out, or she'll like copy and paste a bit.
No, she'll probably just get them out, and Callum will just like be a great big gulp, and then he'll just sit there as she's reading them out loudly. So, do you reckon it's going to be after? Funnily enough, have you ever seen? Well, you have seen it because you've seen it with me. Him and Her. And the very final series of Him and Her,
with Stuart,
you find with the guy who plays Stuart, Ricky Champ, you find out that he is gay. So it's weird, isn't it? They're kind of doing the same.
He's Callum's brother.
He's Callum's brother, and they're doing the same thing. And she reads out a text message from his boyfriend at the wedding.
That's what they'll do.
So
it's a bit like spiteful of Whitney, though. Like, I'm still going into this wanting it to be amicable. Somehow.
I know. I agree with you.
But it's not going to be.
I mean,
Plus Bianca's there.
A lot of people are saying, so Bianca was going to wind her up, isn't she? A lot of people are thinking that, yes, Callum and Ben is a very sweet story, and it's very sweet that Callum's having this coming out storyline. But we do need to think about Whitney here, because this must be devastating. Again, we've said it for a few weeks now that, for Whitney, this is like her third almost ruined marriage, and she just doesn't pick her boys, does she? She just doesn't do well with it.
She picks good boys, but
good-looking boys.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But not
long-term wise.
Yeah,
not great.
They're not reliable.
It depends who she surrounds herself with, because she hasn't got Lauren like nipping in her ear, because she's always a bad influence. But like Tiff, she might be able to relate it to the Bernie and Tiff situation and level Whitney out a bit,
sympathise a little.
Yeah, and we've got maybe Chris's sister will be there. She might be able to level out. She's got good people around her. Like Chantel's quite calming and level-headed, isn't she, with her advice?
True, but then
they're becoming friends.
But then, like you said, then there's Bianca.
Well, yeah,
loud Bianca. I mean, she's just going to tip the scales the opposite direction. So you've got all these positives, all 3, 4, 5 positive people who could really help Whitney out in this situation.
But
and then Bianca. Yeah, exactly. And then Bianca's going to step on the scales and just fling everyone in the air. So it's just... I think Whitney's going to come out bruised on this one.
Is Callum going to come out though?
Callum is most definitely coming out.
I think this soon, because we haven't really seen much of Ben and Callum, if you think about it.
No,
like,
they've
had their bit,
their hot moment, haven't they?
But like, it's not like a full blown affair, is it?
Not quite Sharon Keanu level just yet. Keanu's got the crown for the steamiest affair that's still yet to finish.
I want to know how they're going to make Bianca say Ricky. They're going to have to write it in there somehow, have her shout Ricky.
I mean, you can't really do Callum, can you? With a Callum!
Halfway!
Get back here halfway!
But they're going to have to somehow, Jack's kid is going to have to do something, like run in front of a car and she'll go, Ricky!
Yeah.
That's the only way I can think. But they must put it in there somehow.
Well, it's timeless,
Sid
isn't it?
Appears on a
well, I was thinking that. Do you think Sid's going to be a surprise guest there?
But surely they'd want to keep Bianca a surprise if they're going to do a surprise.
I don't know.
It's too difficult for her.
But it's almost like to tell the audience that Bianca is coming back.
Yeah, you don't expect anyone else.
You don't exactly. So then to throw in maybe another
Ricky!
Surprise, then yeah,
he'll open the door and she'll go, Ricky!
It's a shame that they can't bring back maybe some of the characters like they did again with Mary and Lofty. They could bring back some old characters from the 90s.
I want to know how they're going to explain Lauren not being there, her best friend.
Oh, she's
and like is
drunk
Liam,
on a beach somewhere.
Is Liam going to be there? And who's the other one? The Tiff's little brother. I can't remember his name. Are they going to be there?
Oh, I can't remember that.
They're going to just be in the back of their heads like Lucy in her grey suit.
Maybe Lucy will be there.
She might come with Bobby. It's +1.
Can you imagine? What's that green alien that's in the Flintstones that follows like Fred Flintstone about?
Name.
That's going to be. It's going to be his conscience.
Gilbert.
Bobby's conscience will be Lucy on his shoulder every now and then, just appearing and disappearing.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Kathy's outfit.
Oh, her hat.
We have to do outfit reviews, won't we? For the wedding.
We shall. Okay, we have to do. That could be the feature.
We'll rate them.
Yeah, we'll rate the dress.
Hot or not. Right, so next up we have got the Slater storyline, which is a bit of Kat and Kush because he's moving in, and a bit of Jean with her annoying friend.
Yeah, so that's
Daniel.
what I said earlier about the reason why Robbie's now got half a flat free is because Kush has just moved in with Kat to protect her.
Yeah.
Because
he's a bodyguard.
He's a bouncer. He did it once.
So you can do it at Slater House?
Yeah, you can bounce some
Stand
guys
on the door,
in and out.
right?
Yeah. You got a pass to get in. Nah, get out. So Kat has admitted everything to Kush.
Yes, she has, and like kind of guilting him into not telling the truth, but he kind of feels guilty that Keanu's possibly being put in prison. But Kat literally told him everything. She told him about Ben and Ben's plan and putting a gun on her. Like when she was explaining it out, like bullet points like that, I was sitting there thinking, God, this sounds awful. Like it sounds like the worst written storyline I've ever heard. But it did actually happen on screen. But yeah, she just explained it point by point, and he kind of was like, "Oh,
well, he
this is
walked
a bit
out
over my head here."
Yeah. Well, even Kat said like saying it out loud's confusing me. It's like confusing you, Kat.
Yeah.
We're listening to it and it's confusing the heck.
Oh.
God knows how Kush must feel. But yeah, Kush left, came back and said, "I'm going to move in with you to protect you from Phil." Good on Kush. You know, he's
I'm
standing
protecting
up.
Big Mo and Jean.
Well, Big Mo was pleased that Muscles was back.
Oh yeah.
She said,
And
she's like,
underwear.
Muscles and Mo back together again. So she's happy to see
I like
him
that.
again.
It's another like example of characters remembering things that have just happened to them, which they don't always do that.
No.
And they don't like reference something from a few weeks ago. So yeah, good for Big Mo. And she was doing child labour again this week with making them put fake labels on fake like perfume or shampoo bottles.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this.
It was literally like 5 seconds. You didn't miss much.
Oh, okay. I feel like I missed a pinnacle moment in the week.
No.
But
Just
okay.
another Big Mo scheme.
Mm.
But the other half was we learnt a bit more about Daniel, who is Aid Edmondson.
Yes.
Daniel Cook. So Jean finally learnt his name, and so did we.
Well, his full name, actually. Daniel Allen Cook.
Oh.
There you go.
I missed that.
He gave his full name.
He's
really
a bit
did...
like annoying, but he was quite good at the end, I thought.
Oh, I felt for him, actually, in the end. I thought it was a good, interesting story that all his family have died, all from cancer, which was devastating. Jean tries to perk him up by saying, "Oh, I've got all my family behind me. I have grandchildren."
I on the O2, won't you know?
Yeah. I got dubbed on the O2. Did you? I mean,
and I had a wig fitted.
Well, he admired her wig. Well, no, he didn't admire his wig. Actually, he said that she should have gone for a bit more of a braver blonde wig. And she said, "Oh, I was blonde once when I was a new romantic." Aid Edmondson really did play the what you know Aid Edmondson for this week, because if you watch Bottom or The Young Ones, which anyone outside the UK might not know these, but these are comedies which are quite anarchic in the UK from the 80s and the early 90s, and he plays quite a over the top brass kind of silly character, slapstick character, and he became that again when he was doing Daniel.
But it was like a front almost, wasn't it? And then
but he never showed that front up until now. So it's almost like Aid Edmondson felt a bit more comfortable playing the role this time. Like there was a bit more fleshed out, rather than him being this mysterious character that's kind of come in and spoke down to Jean and made her feel a bit silly. He came in this time.
Reason behind it.
Yeah, he knew why he was doing it, and so it made him able to flesh out the character a bit better.
And yeah, he said like, "Oh, I've got no point to live anymore." Basically, was what he was getting at. Like, even though all the other times we've seen him, he was trying to put on a front like, "Oh, I don't care if I die, or I don't care if you die, or whatever." But yeah, he lost his family. Did he mention a wife or something? I remember him saying. I was kind of watching, but
I don't think he did actually. He only mentioned
was there
his
someone
mother.
that's still alive though? No,
he said he's got no family. He said when he dies, he said he's never had a nice photo taken of himself, and so he wants at
he's
least
had new cast promos done today.
Also, he's going to be around for a bit longer. I genuinely
they
thought
released them today.
Oh, okay.
Nice photos. So
nice.
maybe
they could put that on the coffin. Yeah, to pop that on top of the coffin. Signed by Aid Edmondson. So he's obviously going to be there for a bit longer. I'm hoping that this isn't some kind of nasty plan to get into Jean's affections.
Do you remember my prediction from like 3 months ago?
I do.
Falls in love with him and he dies. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, so you think he's going to?
They're going to get together.
But she knows outright that he's going to die. You don't think that?
Still be upset.
Yeah, but do you not think that he might be playing it on a little bit to get Jean's attention?
No.
He's realised that by being this kind of snarky guy, it's gonna it's backfired for him. So now he's playing a different game.
No, because he's going to be in the headspace of there's no point me falling in love with you because I'm going to die, and then she's like the positive one, and she'll be like, no, we'll think positively and get together, and they'll fall for each other, and then he'll die.
Oh my god, I'm foreseeing a really devastating.
She'll come in with like a tray of breakfast, and she'll be like, shake him and he'll be dead.
No, see, listen, I'm seeing an episode where he's on pretty much his deathbed in hospital, and they quickly get a minister in and they get married just as he's about to die, and that would kill me. That
Jean
would be
Cook, quite a good name.
It's a nice name. Yeah. Although she wanted to go back to being a Slater, remember?
Nah, Jean Cook.
Jean Cook Slater. Jean Slater Cook.
Jean Cook, and then she'll get over her treatment and she'll create a like market stall where she cooks stuff. Jean's
or the
Cooks.
cookbook that
Yeah.
we keep telling her she
And
needs
she'll
to
do street food sausage surprise. It can be really successful. Jean's Cooks.
Not in a polystyrene box.
Jean Cooks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nice,
see?
clever. She has to have nice cardboard boxes with wooden forks. Thinking of the environment.
Right, so do you want to go on to the last storyline, which was plopped in right at the end, where we've got a hairdressing competition.
You like plopping things in. You were talking about Kathy plopping things in earlier. Now you're plopping in Chantelle, Denise,
plopping in,
Gray,
sort of dropping
Lola.
in.
Yeah, Sheree. Sheree's really getting on Denise's wick. And
I thought you were going to say on your wick then.
no, I like Sheree.
I love Sheree.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Love her.
She's really cool.
I mean, Denise is showing signs that she really is her sister's Kim's sibling because she's becoming Kim. She's the jealousy storyline that Kim had against Chantelle has just pretty much been transferred now over to Denise and
done so much better.
Sheree.
Already.
Yeah,
but yeah, I love Sheree. I think she's really cool, but no doubt she'll turn out to be evil and horrible.
No, I don't think she will. I really don't think she will.
I hope not.
I think
she's a bit of fun, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a bit of fun, and I think that kind of passing comment about this is Patrick's house, not yours. I don't think there was any malice behind it. I think it was just kind of like hold on, don't get above your station here. This is
But really, what she's doing in the salon isn't like
she's helping Denise.
So I don't know why Denise is getting like shirty
because
with her.
Again, what's Denise really doing in the salon? She just stands behind that reception desk drinking coffee. She's not doing anything and shouting, "Oh, your next customer's here," and it's just.
It's strange, isn't it?
Really strange that Denise has this kind of venomous...
I don't know what it is that she doesn't like about her. She's not being horrible. I know she moved her things around when she first arrived, but like, she's not doing anything now, like, really to upset Denise, is she?
She's almost doing everything in her powers. Sheree is doing everything in her powers to try to get in Denise's good books. She comes up with the idea, which is a valid idea, of entering a competition to really promote the business.
Well, it serves Denise right for opening a business, which she doesn't have any idea about.
She has a GCSE in English.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I'm going to open a salon.
Someone posted, which I loved. I think it was... Oh, I don't want to say the name because I get it wrong, but they basically said that when people were getting their A-level results, they said that, when you get your A-level results, just remember Denise got one GCSE and she now has her own business. So it's, it's worth remembering.
Yeah, it's doable, but not a successful business without Sheree.
Well, or Chantelle, who is...
Lola's not much cop either.
Why
She's
not?
been training for years. She was training when she was last on it.
It was surprising how little Lola knew.
It only takes 2 years to do your basic... Your basic training is 2 years, Lola. You've seen like 6 years since we last saw you, and she trained years then.
Well, I thought she was working in a hairdresser's while she was away as well.
I thought. Because she was training at the same time as Paul Coker, wasn't she? That was ages ago.
So she was basically showing how inept she was at her skills, and it was decided that Chantelle should enter the competition.
Yeah.
And they asked Gray, and they kind of pushed Gray, and Gray was like, "Yeah, of course I don't mind."
Chantelle said no, didn't she? And then Gray came in like to pick her up from work. And then he was like, "Oh, if you want to do it, Chantelle, you should do it."
And Chantelle did want to do it, and then skipped out the door.
Yeah, left him on his own.
I know, but then
Rude.
that's what caused. Yeah, it was quite rude to be fair, but that's what caused this little detachment from Chantelle from Gray made Gray very upset.
Yeah.
His little scowl came back out again, and so we just thought, "Oh no."
He's just so nice in front of everyone, isn't he?
He is. But yeah, I love the way she skipped out the door. She's like, do, I'm off to do a competition. So I think that is the end of the week.
It is. We got there all the way through from A-levels to hair ups.
Yeah. But you know what? Well, I think we need to read out some comments from people and find out who won the week and find out what happened.
Travel back in time.
Yeah, travel back in time.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Yes, it's the end of the episode where we talk about who won the week and also your comments on Facebook, our Twitter and our Instagram account. But before we do any of that, it's Ben's favourite part when he gets to talk about an episode that he's rewatched from the past that happened on a date this week.
Yes.
And Ben was chuckling a lot in the lounge this evening, so I'm presuming it's going to be quite funny, this
It was
story.
a good one. It was 2 parts.
Oh,
part 1 and part 2, and that screamed out to me, so I took it.
Dedication.
First up, we got the birthdays and the deaths that we missed that people do not care about in 2019 EastEnders. So the birthday that was missed this week, only one birthday was missed. 17th of August, 1968, little Lynn Hobbs was born.
Oh, wow.
Lynn Slater.
Lynn Slater.
So yeah, Kat's too busy with her mission. Maybe Stacey Martin had gone to her for her birthday?
Perhaps. She is the Slater that has been forgotten.
Well, she lives with 7 dogs, which we remember.
That's
That's
true.
what Jean said last year.
It's true.
And we got 2 deaths. So 14th of August 1986. The first death. Well, the second death of
Reg
EastEnders.
Cox is the first
the
death.
second death, but the first character to be killed off was our Andy
Andy!
O'Brien.
Yeah, hit by a car while saving a child
What
from
a hero.
running into the road. What
Hero
a
of Wolford.
Because Debbie went very quiet for about a month, didn't she? She would talk like this.
I might watch those
the whole
episodes again
time.
actually because I love watching her her traumatized
And then fell in love with the police
with
officer.
her fuzzy hair that's been blow dried. And the other one was the 12th of August 2005, which not many people probably know is Leo Taylor. He was a boyfriend of one of the Miller daughters, and he died of a drug overdose. Boring.
Wow. Well, maybe not at the time.
Yeah,
but
but he's boring.
but forgotten.
All the Millers are boring, so he's not even a character. He's just a part of a Miller.
To be fair, the minutes are boring.
But anyway, the episode I watched, which was not boring,
Mm.
was 13th of August 2012. Very special date for us because Sharon Mitchell returns to EastEnders after a little 6-year break.
Now, is this her return when they did the promo of her flying down? Was it Hurricane Sharon? I love that promo.
Because she knocks Phil's proposing to Shirley.
Oh, yeah.
Heather's recently been killed.
Oh, God, yeah. My goodness.
Ian has turned up looking homeless and with a beard. And
Was it Hobo Ian?
Yeah.
Oh, my. This is the setup for the Who Killed Lucy. This is pretty much where it starts.
Yeah. And very good cast. Roxy's there, Ronnie's there, Kat's there, Janine's there.
Yeah.
It's my God, it was all going on. And now Sharon's turned up at the door just as Phil proposed to Shirley.
I'm so excited. I've actually had to sit on my hands. I'm so excited.
And she says, yeah, Phil, you got to help me. And she's in a wedding dress.
Oh, yeah.
With a little wedding coat on as well.
I remember all this.
Classy. Yeah. Typical Sharon. It literally is ridiculous and that makes no sense. She's run away from her wedding to go to Phil's to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
The help that she wants is for Phil to drive her back to the wedding because she left Denny there.
She left her own son at her wedding.
It's for God's sake, Sharon. So you've come all the way to Wolford, run away from your wedding when she was about to walk up the aisle, to ask Phil for help to drive her back to the wedding to pick up Denny.
This is classic. This is gold.
So he leaves Shirley. Shirley's like, who is this?
Of course, because Shirley wouldn't have met.
Know. Billy knew, so which I found obviously he does because he was there in 98. But you don't think about that, do you? But Roxy didn't know who she was, and nor did Lola. So Billy was filling Roxy and Lola in on who Sharon was in the history between
That
Grant.
surprises me.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. So he said, she slept with Grant and Phil. And,
yeah.
And,
there was that moment. Sharon Gate.
Roxy told Shirley. So.
Oh,
but Shirley's busy because she is helping Ian shave.
Oh, right.
Because Ian, I think Jay and Phil know that Ben killed Heather.
Uh-huh.
Shirley's trying to work it out who killed Heather, and she sees the photo frame in Denise's house.
Okay.
She wants to know who gave her the photo frame.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, she's trying to help Ian. But I think Ian also knows about Heather, which is a bit why he's gone a bit loopy.
It was part of the breakdown, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
So everyone knows about Heather apart from Shirley, and she's helping all these people.
What, on her wedding day? Oh, no, she'd just been proposed.
No, she's engaged.
Sorry. I'm forgetting whose wedding day it was.
Sharon's.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's got a new man that she met while she was working at a bar. He was a regular.
Well, she always picks up men at the bar, doesn't she? Seems to be her thing.
She just decided that she doesn't want to get married. And she goes back to the wedding and he says, oh, do I not get at least 5 minutes? And his sister comes and she's like, Sharon, what are you doing? Why have you done this? And she goes, go back and do what you do best. Have a drink. It's like, all right, Sharon.
All right, kettle black. Pot kettle black.
So this random character we've never met before. But yeah, you sort of see signs that he's kind of abusive almost to Sharon. He grabs her and almost threatens her.
He's not the hunky fireman, is he?
No, he's hunky, but not a fireman. But he's a bit abusive.
Or her brother.
But and Phil's behind and he says, oh, you're just a bit cheap tart. And Phil is behind and he said, say that again.
Oh, good old Phil.
So yeah, he rescues her and the woman who she said go have a drink to, his sister, they're both in a Mini and she goes, where's Denny? Because she told Denny to sit somewhere while she talked to Phil.
Go sit on the bench somewhere.
He's kidnapped Denny.
Oh, wow.
Her husband-to-be and sister, drunk sister.
Goodness
me.
So
yeah, that was part 1 and 2.
Wow.
So, yeah, Hurricane Sharon.
Hurricane Sharon really did storm in. I mean, watching Classic EastEnders this week, Phil basically from the early days had a thing about rescuing Sharon because obviously he rescued her washing machine and tumble dryer this week.
He did, yeah. Hunky Phil and Grant.
Yeah, young Phil and Grant. Wouldn't chuck them out of bed.
I do prefer Grant though, after I saw his little underwear show at Julie's.
When he's wobbling his bum about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Maybe we could talk about that another time.
Okay, we must.
Yeah. So that's great. So Hurricane Sharon.
That was Sharon's stint. She's not left since, so time's ticking.
I was going to say she
Count
does it
every
in
moment.
stints, doesn't she? So she's getting on maybe the cusp of her wanting to jump ship for a little while. But I think she'd be silly too, because obviously this starting to build up again. It's getting a bit of a
stay
rep.
forever.
Yeah, she should.
Might as well. Got nothing else to do. It's done Strictly.
She could go to Portugal maybe, stay in a holiday home for 3 years and come back. So excellent, thank you very much. I do strongly recommend that people watch Hurricane Sharon trailer on YouTube. Just Google Hurricane
She's
Sharon.
like flying through the wolf.
Like Wuthering Heights, isn't it? She's
I would
like,
love to see behind the scenes of that being filmed, or to check Letitia Dean like being hoisted up.
Oh, it would be fantastic. So as every week, we ask you who you think won the week on EastEnders. We gave you 4 options, and they were Iqra Flat Out.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that.
Bobby's Belief.
Yeah, I like that too.
Callum's Regret.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And Jean's Counsel.
Nah.
It was alright, I thought.
Yeah, it was
Jean's-
alright, but
yeah.
everything else is above it.
They filmed it in the
Strong
cafeteria,
week.
the BBC EastEnders cafeteria. I mean, yeah, it was a strong week when you look back at it in that context, but thinking about how the episodes were constructed, it didn't really seem to be.
Thursdays was like better than Fridays.
Friday was a real weak episode.
It wasn't weak, but like it would have been nice to maybe end on the Callum one on a Friday, maybe.
It kind of was a one-story horse, as it were, and that was the Jean story. Anyway, so we asked you to vote. Who do you think came second? I'm asking you, Ben.
Iqra.
You're right. Iqra did come second. Well done. I think that's the first time you ever got it right, with 23% of the vote. Third place was Bobby's Belief with 18% of the vote. So between Callum's Regret and Jean's Counsel, who came first?
Oh, I wonder. The second place was 20%, so it's like a massive one for first. So it'll be Callum, and then Jean will be last.
Callum's Regret came first with 49% of the vote,
Obviously.
and Jean's was last with 10% of the vote. Thank you to everyone who voted. Remember, you can vote on our Twitter, Instagram, and our Facebook group. On Twitter, we're at EastEnders Week. On Instagram, we're at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. And on Facebook, just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast, then click to join the group. Really good group. We've got so many people having chats and conversations.
Lots this week, lots of new people.
Lots of people joining us. And I'm going to read some of the comments from our Facebook group concerning the week. So James Reed said, I gasped. Not really a fan of apparitions appearing in soaps, so I'm glad that it was just a fleeting glance. But great performance from Clay. That's obviously
Clay's very good.
That's the Bobby and Lucy
Yes.
bit.
Grey suit.
Andy on our Facebook group said, good ep that. Sets up a lot. That's it.
Yes, it does. It's setting up all the storylines for the autumn.
Yeah. Ron on our Facebook group said, the scene between Callum and Bobby is an example of what I love about EastEnders, when two unrelated characters interact and it naturally moves along their individual stories. Yeah, I like that too, the Bobby and Callum story.
There's some which just feel random, like the Cat and Kush one felt like, what? But then like other ones, like Bobby and Iqra or whatever, feel really good.
Concur.
Or Kathy and everyone.
Kathy full stop.
Kathy and Tiff next week. Who would have thought that?
Ooh, who'd have funked it? Trip on our Facebook group says, have to catch up, but happy Aid is back. That's
Daniel.
I was worried he'd been dropped already. I was a bit worried too.
Yeah, I
they
thought
kind
he
of
was
just
like
forgot
weird,
about
like,
him. Yeah. And Sethro on our Facebook group said, it's nice to see Callum have a storyline outside of Ben, and Whitney is still kind of a fool, but she's getting a
Is that
perspective.
sexual innuendo there? A storyline outside of Ben.
I don't think it was meant to be.
Okay,
I think you
good.
found something that wasn't there. And Whitney is kind of a fool, but she's getting a perspective in the story, and it's great. So that's great. Like I said, there's lots of comments on our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. Join in the conversation. It's amazing. Honestly, everyone who's on there has great fun, and I learn a lot from people. Such fun. I learn a lot from the people on there.
Yeah, we can just read their comments and then we can just make a show.
I was going to say, yeah, you're doing the show for us. Why not? Other people who are doing the show for us are people on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at EastEnders Week. A few comments on there. At The Quality Dan says, only one man is worthy of the title this week, and that's Mr. Callum Highway.
I think most of the comments were basically Callum. He's like the most popular character.
At British Lola said, I'm being serious. Robbie won the week.
No, she's not being serious.
I'm shrugging. At Martin_Morgan said, Callum every time. # Callum week.
Oh yeah.
I'd like a week just solid Callum.
Well,
no. Again, you're finding something that's not there.
Callum solid for a week. Well, there will be when the wedding week. There's 2 episodes of a stag do and then a wedding. That'll probably be 2 episodes. That'll be the whole week.
Excellent. I'll look forward to it. The end of the month. It's over. No, it's after bank holiday, isn't it?
Stuart dresses up as a Roman soldier.
Mm,
There you go, everyone.
that sounds kind of hot.
He lies on the sofa and his little dress is open.
Ooh. On Instagram, Girk Huel, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, said Tony Clay really showed what an amazing actor he is. And also on Instagram, Hayley_Coral_XX. By the way, apologies, Hayley, for announcing your name wrong last week. She says, Bobby in Friday's ep, just everything about it was amazing.
Yeah, I love Bobby. He's very good.
Bobby was excellent. Really, really good. And so was... I mean, I think everyone was great. Characters I normally say, or actors who I normally say, they were a bit
Robbie?
dumb. Even Robbie was fine. He was there.
Sonia? Trumpet?
I loved Sonia. Yes, and that line when she said, you know what my
Bernie.
biggest regret is? I gave up the trumpet. I just like...
Is this Bernie's new chess storyline?
Well, she's going to take up the trumpet and be taught by Sonia.
Sonia might teach her and they'll fall in love.
Oh, yes. We always
Bit of an
forget
age
Sonia's
gap,
bisexual, don't we?
Yeah.
Or she's fluid, you know.
Bit of a weird age gap, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But maybe Bernie will learn to blow the trumpet.
At band camp.
All right, 1999.
Well, Sonia can talk
American
about her...
Pie.
Sonia's talking about her 90s storyline, and so can I.
You're making a reference to a film that's almost 20 years old. How dare you? As I say, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and our Facebook group. Thank you to everyone who's made comments. As always, we haven't had time to read them all out, but if you want to read them for yourself, join the group or follow us on Twitter, and you can. And we always tweet live when EastEnders is broadcast live in the UK on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So come join in and
or if
have
it's on
fun
a
with
Wednesday,
us.
we'll tweet them too.
Or Saturday or Sunday. If there was a Sunday omnibus, we might have considered it.
No.
But there isn't, so we can't. So thank you for joining us and listening.
Yeah, well, that's what you're getting, I'm afraid, guys, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, unless you want to give us some money, some sweet, sweet money.
We need the money.
Then we might make an even longer show.
That's what our charity's going to be called. We need the money. We're going to get Linda Davison to endorse it.
Yeah.
With her sound bites of, I need the money.